One.
Hello, LinkedIn. Me again.
Set for 9 p.m.
Well, what's set for 9 p.m? So, me again, thank you very much for joining us on today's show. I'm just putting on my phone to make sure it's coming through okay. Because it doesn't look like it on my phone. Are you seeing it, Andrew?
It'll take 2 minutes.
Does it? It takes a couple of minutes? Alright, okay. So this is why I don't usually look at stuff and I usually just talk. So, welcome to today's show. We've got another fantastic guest on. So we've got Abby, and Abby and I have now known each other for probably 3 years when we first met, maybe 4 years, don't know. How long's it been? Been a few years anyway.
A few years, yeah.
A few years anyway. So first met, so we'll talk about Abby and her business, Defankle. Is that how I'm saying it right?
Yeah.
Defankle. Because I think what Abby does is fantastic, and again, this show's all about things that we, well, basically me, I think that could help other businesses. And we'll talk about how I think that can happen in a minute. But as always, we have to give a big shout out to our, Bold Mango Media for making all this happen, and then also our sponsors Grow. So Abby's, you're not on the cakes, aren't you?
No, I'm off cakes just now, aye.
Abby's off the cakes. She's on what is it? You're on the keto?
A keto diet, no carbs.
Keto, aye, no carbs. How raging are you?
It's good. I'm like adjusted to it now.
Is it? And you feel the benefits of it?
Oh, I do like the clarity, like just energy, no big sugar crashes or anything like that. Just like consistently.
Brilliant.
Feeling good.
Well, that's every day I end up probably about 3-4 o'clock. I'm absolutely knackered, and I think that's what it is. It's carb stroke sugar crash. Yeah. Well, anyway, so since Abby's not having them, I've got two. Right, so I'm not going to eat these both actually, because it's my stepdaughter's birthday today. So what I did is I picked cakes I know that she would like. So we've got a bit of a millionaire shortbread type thing, and then here comes the dog. Right, so Sonny's been lying there all quiet, no one to get involved in the show. But as soon as the cakes come out, get away. And a honeymoon slice. And for those who have not met Sonny before, this is Sonny. He's decided to join us today because Abby likes dogs, so I thought I'd bring one in to show her, and Sonny even got a present and everything. So we'll go on now and we'll talk a wee bit about Abby. So Abby, what to do is, because I think your journey to where you've got to. So obviously you're now your own budding entrepreneur, running your own business and helping other businesses. But that's not always been the case. So tell us a wee bit about how you got to where you are now, and I might just chip in with a wee question here and there as we go.
All right. So yeah, it's difficult to know whether to start at the beginning or whether to work backwards.
Go from closer to the beginning. Beginning up.
The beginning. All right. So I think like way back to high school, I wasn't really interested in high school. Like I was hanging about the wrong people, maybe, like just not that engaged, and left school with next to no qualifications. So I managed to get a B for English, which was a bit of a fluke, and then I got a C for chemistry, which was like my chemistry teacher had like put in an appeal around my prelim results. So I left school like not that many qualifications, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I thought I kind of wanted to be an art teacher, so I went to Cumbernauld College and I did higher art.
Right.
And tried to get into art school a couple of times, 2 years in a row, and I didn't get in. I was nowhere near good enough, but I was like,
you were nowhere near good enough, or you just weren't trying hard enough?
I think it was a bit of both. Like, I was just, yeah. So then the second time I didn't get in, I panicked a little bit about what I was going to do with myself, and went to Bell College in Hamilton, which is UWS now, but it was Bell College at the time. And I was wanting to do some more higher, so something that was like objective, like it wasn't like art where it was like, oh, you're good enough, not good enough. Like if you got the grade, you'd be good enough, and then I could go and do something at uni, which was also not going to be subjective. Mm-hmm. So went to ask about doing hires at college, and the guy was like, oh, between your like A for higher art, your B and your C that you've got for chemistry, you've got enough to get into this product design engineering degree. So I was like, I was buzzing the fact that I'd got into a degree. That felt like massive to me. And I think my mum thought I'd last like a couple of weeks. Like she didn't think I was going to stick it. But when I started it, I found out I was good at maths. Like the way they taught the maths at college was like
Completely different.
so different from what I'd had at high school. And I was actually quite good at it, which just like was really like, it was weird to me. So like I discovered this. I was excited about the fact I was good at something. So I did stick college and I finished college, and then at the end of that I got a place at uni at third year at Strathclyde. So again, like I was totally buzzing that I was going to uni. Like that was like way beyond what I had like hoped for myself. I thought
You
it was
never really
possible.
imagined for yourself. So you're sitting there when you're at school going, that's never the journey I want to take.
So going into third year at uni, and I was out my depth. I think that was one of, with the exception of this year, third year at uni was the hardest year of my life.
Aye.
So I was like zero confidence, like no idea how to like handle myself or anything. And I'd gone from this little class of like 13 people to like 200 people in my class. Everybody was like straight A students, like proper middle class mummies and daddies, and like I just didn't fit in, and they'd all like already formed their wee friendship groups and stuff like that.
After the first 2 years, because you've been together for 2 years before you got there.
And then for like turning up in the same room every day as well to like try to like work your way around a big massive campus. It was so out my depth in third year, but like I stuck with that. And I got a master's from Strathclyde in product design engineering.
Brilliant.
But like even towards the end of that, like I felt like I'd blagged my way in. I didn't feel like I really fitted in, so my confidence was low. And it came to like the final presentations for our dissertation, and I totally fluffed it. I got 2 out of 10. I think I got 2 out of 10 because my slides were all right, but like I kind of stood up and I wasn't able to talk. Like the words wouldn't come out because I'd like no confidence. So anyway, the head of department was like, "You come and see me afterwards." So I was like, absolutely kicking it. But he was like, "What's up with you? Like you're bright, but you've got no confidence. Like, what's your problem?" Is like, there's so many people in here that are full of confidence, and it's just all like,
aye, but they can't back it up.
Aye.
And
so,
you were the opposite. You could back it up, but you didn't believe in yourself.
Yeah. So I ended up doing. He said, "Why don't you do a PhD?" So I was like, I don't know, I want out of uni, I want to like have a job. But there was this opportunity to do a PhD, but do it in this company, this Johnson & Johnson company in Leeds, where you were like, it was kind of like a KTP, but a PhD over 4 years. And it also had like these systems engineering modules that were in Loughborough as well. So that was an amazing opportunity. So you're like, kind of like somewhere in between a job, but still being able to get this qualification, which was really cool. And that was again like totally out my depth, like try to behave like a professional person when you've not got any context for that or confidence to like even think.
And in a big corporate organisation, because that's the thing, is the way that everybody kind of acts and speaks and just the whole atmosphere in a corporate organisation is different from most others. Because it's you get this thing instilled within you that you need to be this level of professionalism, this way that we speak, the language that you use, all that kind of stuff. And you're not. Obviously, I had various roles in corporate organisations, and you realise that you speak completely different from everyone. Yeah. See, when I used to work away all the time, and then I'd come back, all my pals would be like, "Who do you think you are?" Right? That's not you. But that has to become the work you, because that's the environment that you're in.
And I think things did change. Like even my accent, like being in Leeds, like having to talk to people, like so people could understand what you were saying. You had to like moderate things. I used to do things like sending big long emails or like just like really clunky behaviours. Like just like not very polished. Like way it's embarrassing to look back at, but I guess it's just part of the process. Part
of the journey. Actually, you're talking about the changing the accent. So I used to have quite a lot of my friends, and they'd be driving back in their works van, and they would phone me like for somebody else's phone, and I'd be like, "Hello, Jamie speaking," and then he'd be like, "Well, it's such and such," and I'm like, "Oh, shut up." So you would go for the work voice to the kind of your normal voice, quite quickly. But they used to think it was hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, wait till we phone him up just to annoy him. Wait till you hear the voice he puts on. Wee posho thinking he's somebody else. But it's the world that you live in.
Yeah.
And especially when you're down south and people can't understand you.
Yeah, you want to be understood, you've got to like change your accent a little bit.
That's why one of the things I've been really, really happy about since I've obviously been back up here full time is I can just speak the way I normally
People
speak.
understand you.
And the 90% of folks still understand me. But I used to have it. So I had a boss that went, obviously, this is probably 4 years into my journey of working down south. And he'd be like, Jamie, says, we can understand every word you say until you either get pissed off or you get 2 beers in you, and then it's gone. Because as soon as you get annoyed, you can't, that whole thinking about what you're saying and make sure you're saying something slow enough and all that kind of stuff. When I start to get annoyed, that just goes and it's just full blown West of Scotland ripping at you. And that's where people used to get scared just when you get annoyed, because you get faster, you get louder, you get more animated. And you're like, listen, I'm just a wee bit annoyed. It's no a big deal.
Yeah.
But anyway, so down in Leeds, Johnson & Johnson, that sounds like an absolutely outstanding opportunity, especially for somebody that's because you hear about all the kind of PhD students and all that kind of stuff, and you're still a student, you're still skint. You're getting a bit more money than you probably got before, but you're still a student, you're still skint.
Yeah.
Whereas you're down there and you're obviously working for a big company and you're getting a bit of the best of both worlds.
Yeah. I got paid well enough to be able to buy a flat when I was down there, so it was like it was decent. It wasn't like scraping by being a student. And then the company was going through stuff, so they had like a big recall for like one of these, so it was an orthopaedic implant company, but they had like a recall for like hip implants, so it was like a massive issue for the company. So there was redundancies and stuff. They weren't taking people on at the end, and so I came back up and I did a postdoc with BA Systems. So this was all looking at product development process, like how you plan for product development, plan for uncertainty, like manage things that are complex and you're not sure how it's going to end up or how the technology is going to work and all that. So did a similar sort of thing with BA Systems. And then I like my idea doing research wasn't like doing academic research in a uni in isolation. Like I was just used to being in a company solving practical problems that were difficult for people, like to do with planning and thinking strategically about product development. So just chatting to Alexander Dennis, ended up like realising that I could help them with their product development processes, and ended up with a KTP with Alexander Dennis, and then Spirit Aerosystems, and then Johnson's Elgin. So like had all these relationships with companies and was bringing in lots of research funding from Innovate UK and from the businesses. So that looked really good to the university. So I managed to get a lecturing job, like this permanent job, which is like what everybody that's got, not everybody, but like it's like the holy grail for like postdocs or PhD students. So I enjoyed that. Like I enjoyed working with the companies. I liked the students. But there's so much bureaucracy and admin and politics around being an academic.
I've said, obviously I work with quite a lot of the academic institutes now. So I work with Strath a lot, obviously, and all that kind of stuff, work with a lot of the councils. And I've said to every single person that works in them all, I could not do your job. Right? Just couldn't do it. It would frustrate me far too much. And right, okay, there's a problem. Let's go and solve it. Let's go and do it. Get it done, move on, right? Whereas it doesn't work like that.
You know, it definitely does not.
But the learning that you'd have got out of that would probably have been massive as well, though.
It was. But I'd been at Strathclyde at that point, right since I was an undergrad, in the same department as well. So so being a lecturer, you get 3 years probation, and I got to the end of that, and it felt like there's this moment where you're either at Strathclyde for the rest of your life, or you get out and you try something else. And you can maybe come back if it doesn't work out. And this job came up at KTN, Knowledge Transfer Network, for somebody to work in the manufacturing team. So I thought, like, what's there to lose?
Right up your street.
Yeah. So I left and did that, and I kind of got this hospital pass responsibility, which was to help people that were developing hardware products. So the rest of the team were focused on like productivity, digitalisation and manufacturing, like what's the stuff that will be similar to what you guys do. But so if you're helping somebody develop a hardware product, it's hard. Like the chances of being successful with hardware development is like you've got like a 3% success rate compared to like a 30% success rate for innovation generally.
Yeah.
It's
Aye,
tough.
because it's sorry, I'll probably ask you this one. Why is that?
So I think some of it's about the investment that's required up front for the manufacturing. So you need to be really sure that it's going to work out, that you're going to be able to recover that investment. Whereas if you're developing a service or an app or software, you can kind of do it on the fly. Like, you don't necessarily need loads of investment up front to like prove the concept or test the idea. And then if you've got an app or software or a service, it's easy to adapt and change that if it's not quite right, or like you can tweak it once it's live. Whereas if you've committed to like tooling in a manufacturing line, that's it. Like you're locked in.
Aye, the initial kind of tooling cost, as we used to call it, is massive in a lot of senses. Even just to do changes to it, so you've went from Rev 1 to Rev 2 because there's different things that need to be done. That cost can be massive.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're doing software and stuff like that, it's right, okay, you just need to change a bit of code here, you need to do a wee bit there. And it's easier to adapt and pivot to changes than it is in most hardware products, I would assume.
Definitely. Yeah.
So what kind of people were you dealing with then?
So there's a whole range of different types of businesses. So from people that were like sitting at their kitchen table, like on their own, that had a mad idea, to like big corporates that were doing product development. There was like lots of people that came through the door were people that were looking for Innovate funding or had been rejected from Innovate funding. So it was a full spectrum of different types of businesses. But the ones that were hard to work with, I guess, are the companies that don't have their own revenue to be able to invest in it themselves. So it's like a massive risk for investors to be interested in hardware.
Right.
So so it was my job to support these people that were probably not going to be successful, or like if they were, it was
a very small chance.
Yeah.
So you know that out of the 100 that you're talking to just now, only 3 on the current law of averages, only 3 of them's actually going to turn into something.
Yeah. So, but it was good because I learned loads about something that nobody else wanted to touch. So like I learned how to do that well, like the importance of relationships, connections, which I know is a thing you're big into, like people being joined up, thinking about customers, like a design-led approach to innovation. All these things became really important. And I ran this webinar series with product designs, with Technology Scotland, with Ali from Technology Scotland. So we ran this like series of webinars around all the different aspects of hardware development. And I built this like little community. We wrote a guidebook. Well, it actually ended up being quite a big community. So I loved doing that job. I learned so much, and I felt like I was adding lots of value to people. And then various things happened. So we were like, KTN was taken over by Innovate UK, and at the same time I kind of transitioned. I guess it's what happens when you're like, you do something well, you kind of like transition into a position where you have line management responsibility and you're now like sucked into all these meetings. So I was running the design team and doing the design innovation network, and so you've got line management, you're like thinking strategically, but at the same time the organisation was also becoming a bit more bureaucratic because you're being taken over by, it's natural, being taken over by a larger business. So, and then I was pregnant, so I was just like a bit drained by it, if I'm honest. Like it was just, I wasn't learning as much anymore. I didn't feel like I was adding value or helping people. So like part of the way through my pregnancy, I thought, I'm out, like I'm done.
How long ago was that wait?
She'll be 3 in January, so it's not even that long ago. It feels like a lifetime ago. It does. It feels like looking back, I feel like I'm talking about a different person.
Aye.
Yeah. So like decided, so I started like I guess sounding people out a little bit, like where could I get working? In my head at that point, I was like, I'm going to do freelance work. I'm just going to like get involved in other people's projects, and like I just want to try being self-employed. I just don't want to go back to working for somebody. I wasn't really sure what else I would do, so I thought I'll give that a go for a wee while. And various people were really kind and like offered me work enough to give me confidence that I was going to leave.
Aye.
So, but then not all of that panned out. So there was things like people didn't win funding, and it was kind of like Census is one example. So Paul Winstanley from Census, he's been phenomenal. Like he's been loads of help.
Aye, a nice guy.
Aye. But they didn't get their funding, so that but then so it was Ada was only 4 months old, and I was going to visit Paul, and I just stopped in at the KTP centre to see Elaine just to say hello, and she was needing somebody to plug this little gap. And I wasn't really like mentally ready for starting, but she was like, can you start, we really need somebody 2 days a week, can you come and help us out? So that was it. I jumped like.
So Elaine, we'll give Elaine a shout out.
Well, let's give Elaine a shout out.
Right, so Elaine said she's watching, so she's put a comment in there. So she said, I'll be watching. So Elaine, if you're watching, there you go. Abby's giving you a shout out to say that you're awesome.
Yeah, Elaine is awesome. She's very
awesome.
kind.
I have to say, the whole of the KTP Centre, I cannot believe the relationship that we built up with them. So Elaine, Eileen, obviously Andrew, Carlin, Jim, Graham, everybody that we've dealt with is really, really nice. I think they've just got a fantastic team. They really do. And what the KTP does, still say it, I've said it all along, I still think it's the best kept secret in the world.
Oh, it is definitely. KTPs are amazing.
We're actually looking at trying to take on 2. Maybe more commercial person, another technical person, because they I mean, it's been invaluable for us. I mean, see, that I've said to them, Elaine, there you go. I'll say it just now. See if you need a case study, right, put together, and the value you can get out of the KTP process. I will happily put something together. I think I've already done a couple, but I'll happily do it again, because see, without the KTP process, it's now called Intelligent Data Solutions part of our business. So that's just been confirmed today. And I said, but we can't then put the Ailsa bit in front of it because it says AIDS, right? But then Kane said it's all right because we've got the immune system that can support and boost it. But so it's not Ailsa Intelligent Data Solutions, it's just Intelligent Data Solutions. That wouldn't. So that our Intelligent Data Solutions part of our business would not be anywhere without that process. We were obviously doing good, and we were working away with Bell Rock and all that kind of stuff, and it was getting some traction. But now we have got this. See the skills we've got in that team. That'd be phenomenal. I mean, the likes of, so you've got Matty, who's obviously who did the KTP, who's absolutely amazing, right? So he's now learned so much. I mean, he came into that process as an electrical engineer, and he's now, I don't even know what we call him. He's an AI whiz. He's a this whiz. He's a that whiz. He knows. So he's actually going to be doing a thing, like a little kind of discussion with our internal team, and I think we'll put it out there to the market about looking at data communications, so industrial data communications, because see everywhere we've went, so we've now had to do things probably about 10 different ways to be able to get data out. Because of all the different things that you can't do, and we can't work through this, and you need to go through this type of file, and you need this type of system there, blah blah blah. We've learned hundreds, and he says that doesn't get taught to you anywhere. You only learn these things by when you go to a customer site and they go, we can't do this because of that. All right, well, we'll find a way around it. So there's been loads and loads of solutions. So KTP is amazing. I'm going to stop at that because I'll keep saying about how good they're.
I could go on about KTPs as well.
Aye. Well, that's where we first met, wasn't it? Was it at a KTP event?
Probably, that would make sense. Yeah.
I think it was, and I can't remember you were involved in at the time. I don't know if you were doing that thing when you were working with them.
No, I would have been before that. It would have been before that. I think so. Yeah.
No. But it's an amazing thing. Right, sorry, I've interrupted just.
No, I can't. Where was I? Oh, I started Defankle. Aye. The rest history, really. So I kind of went from this freelancing idea of doing like freelance work, just not wanting to be employed and having I think autonomy's always been really important to me. Being able to steer my own ship and just. The bureaucracy or the politics of big organisations just frazzles me a little bit.
And what you do is you learn as you're going through these large organisations that you're either the person that's want to be my sister's terrible saying this, but the kind of sheep that's happy enough just to go along, or the person that wants to be the shepherd that actually wants to make something happen. And there's lots of people that are happy enough just, right, I want to just somebody to tell me what to do, and I'll go and do it. And 9 times out of 10 people want to do that to the best of their ability. That's fine. But then you get people that are going, well, I want to do it that way, and I want to do it this way, and I want to make that happen now,
Yeah.
right? And that's where you in small organisations, everybody's a bit of that, right? Because everybody has to do a bit of everything. But in large organisations, there's a lot of people that just hide,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you could sit and go like, what does Jim do? Don't know. Nobody knows what Jim does,
Yeah.
right? Jim knows what Jim does, but nobody else knows because Jim probably doesn't deal with it. Jim
Yeah.
does a lot of probably hiding behind a computer. Whereas small businesses, you can't do that,
Yeah.
right? Because we were talking about AI, and we were talking about it at our entrepreneurial Scotland thing that we're at, and it's talking about, obviously, will AI take people's jobs and replace humans for jobs? Well, the answer is probably yes, and especially in large organisations where what they'll find is the automation of systems and stuff like that will find that it'll identify a lot of the waste that's in it and the inefficiencies.
Yep.
So there will be people in these large organisations that will lose their roles because Jim no longer can sit there because people will be wondering what Jim actually does.
Yeah.
And sorry, Jim, if Jim's watching now and he's sitting there doing nothing and just watching your show, but you might end up out of job, mate. But for small organisations, innovation is key in my opinion, and using AI or whatever you want to call it, whatever type of system it is to try and reduce waste in your business. What it means is rather than somebody doing 4 jobs, they're now doing 3 or 2, or hopefully they can maybe even get to the stage where they just focus on one. So that's where the big difference is in that. But obviously when we first get the seen what you're doing at Defankle, because we had kind of spoke about stuff, but I didn't really know what it was you were doing.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people were like that. I don't think I don't think I really had an offer. It was just I was dabbling at first, and it took a wee while for that to become a bit clearer.
Right. So you were obviously facilitating the Innovation Academy for Scottish Enterprise that Matthew and I were on, and that was brilliant. So what is the kind of key added value and stuff that you're trying to achieve from Defankle?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think at that point, it was kind of like all around innovation and supporting companies with innovation.
Yep.
And it's evolved. So lots of that was through training. Had lots of little bits of lecturing at Strathclyde around innovation management, and helping businesses with innovation process and running workshops on that stuff. But then after the Innovation Academy, I kind of realised that you could teach people about it, so you're blue in the face, and run little workshops and get people doing post-it notes and all these activities so they understand it. But like when they go back to the office, it's tough to make it happen.
100%.
Like it's the time to like really, or like people were developing this roadmap over 4 days, and it was really helpful. Some of them were able to like pick it up and do really useful stuff with it, but sometimes 4 days of attention that was maybe a little bit divided between other stuff wasn't really enough to like come up with something that was solid and concrete. So I realised there was an opportunity there to help people with their strategy and like planning their business and thinking really strategically. And I think that really fits with my experience and my skill set and like how my mind works. So that's gradually what I'm tending towards focusing on, is less of the like innovation, this is how you innovate, and more about strategy, and this is how you grow your business, and particularly around like doing something that's new or understanding which new thing is the best thing to invest your time and resources in.
And I think obviously from being part of that Innovation Academy, I thought it was really, really good. But from our business, we know what we want to do.
Yeah.
Right? We know where we want to get to. It's how we put the right steps in place and make sure we can actually do it strategically and in a planned manner, and try and not run out of money while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Right. So that's for me it's a real good follow on from that Innovation Academy. And you and I both have a wee chat about doing a wee freebie for us. Yeah, we have a chat about you coming in and trying to help us, because like so we were sitting there talking this morning. So Matthew was in the process. He was obviously doing his roadmap or his project plan about where times, because he's now got a team of 5 or whatever's in his team. So it's where their resources are allocated, how that works. So for me, getting you coming in and sitting down with Matthew and going, right, well, let's look at that, how that works strategically, because most people that are innovators aren't they project delivery people. They're not strategic kind of process driven people. They're usually quite well, you've got likes of me who's the nutty professor that just comes up with hundreds of mad ideas, and then I try and get hundreds of intelligent people round about me to see if they can deliver it. But they're probably not like that pure strategic product developer or strategic this. And small medium enterprise anyway, when you go to larger organisations, they've got a full product department, right, and they've got all these people that have got degrees the same as you've got and all this kind of stuff, right? That's fine. They can afford that.
Yeah.
You're a small to medium enterprise. As I say, you've got poor Matthew there that's trying to do 6 different jobs, and all his team are now trying to do 6 different jobs, and you're trying to make sure you can actually follow and stick on a path, rather than just everybody running about like it's no busy fools as such. But what you can get into the fact that is you've got R&D mindsets, you've got this mindset, you've got that mindset, right? Make sure all that's strategically planned.
Yeah. Getting everybody on the one page, I think that's the big thing. Like knowing what you're doing and how you're going to do it, and everybody having a shared view of what that is and being properly bought into it. So I think that's kind of like how I'd sum up what I do.
And I think that's not so I'm talking about more from our product side of their business, but even from the other bits, I can see a value across all of our business.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we said as well, and this was what we learned at that Innovation Academy, was it's communicating that to your team, right?
Yeah.
Because that can be difficult, because everybody's in their own wee silos, just working away, doing the best they can. It's making sure everybody in the team understands what you're doing. So we did it recently where we communicated the roadmap to the team. Some of the guys into that. Holy moly! I didn't realise we were doing all this. This is amazing.
Yeah.
And your own team, so the people who are in your own business, who you think know what's going on, don't actually know.
Yeah.
So that communication part, I think, is massive.
Yeah.
So what does the customer journey look like then for some of these new kind of more strategic ones? Because what I'm hoping for is there's businesses that maybe be watching this and go, do you know what? I've actually struggled with that myself a wee bit. So how would they then get involved with you, and then like so because this, I'd imagine for people that are not involved in this kind of stuff, it's probably quite scary for them, and you might actually find that this is the bit where they're sticking their head in the sand and just hoping the product works.
That'll somehow fix itself.
So it'll all be good. But by the time it gets out there, it'll be fine.
Yeah. So normally I'd have like a little chat with people. So most of the work I do comes through word of mouth. So I work with somebody, and they like my approach and what I've delivered, so they'll recommend me to somebody else, and then it just all continues on like that. So it's kind of, in that sense, it's been kind of natural, and you're kind of not like there's already a degree of trust there, and they like have some sense of like what you can potentially offer. But I normally go and chat to somebody and find out more about the specifics of like what their challenge is. And sometimes they think it's a particular thing, like they might think, oh, we need an innovation process so we can like make sure we're doing the right projects and that they're all the risk across that's managed properly. But then actually it might be that they've not communicated the vision to their team, and that's what's causing all the like muddle as they try and innovate, or that they don't have a clear vision or strategy for what's going on. Mm-hmm. So normally I'll start with that, like what is your strategy, like what's your vision? Does everybody have a shared understanding of that? Like what's your culture like? So these kind of wider questions around strategy, process and systems, culture, and then the communication of all that. So just, I guess, like a really informal kind of diagnostic chat to make sure that the problem they think they've got is a problem they've actually got, and that they're looking at the right thing. And then I'd probably put a little proposal together of how I could help them. Mm-hmm. And then I'd just crack on with getting that done. Yeah. So there's, I guess like things in my approach that are maybe slightly different to how other people might approach it. So one is that it's design led. So that means like spending lots of time, or maybe not necessarily lots of time, but effort up front, really understanding what people's pain points are. So pain points in terms of like the actual the company I'm working with. So like what makes your job really hard, what's difficult for you, or other people in your business, and then also your customers and other people that are really key. Like what are the things that are difficult for them, and where's the potential to add more value? And things like thinking holistically, like about the business and what's going on. And then taking the time to really listen to people and understand the problem properly up front, which Yeah.
It's like what we say is, and this is relevant in so many different things. So we're experts in getting to the root cause of something,
Yeah.
right, from a technical point of view. And we see it quite regularly in just the non-technical aspects of what we do is getting to that root cause is critical, because all
Yeah.
you're doing is the analogy I always used to use is you're just putting sticking plasters over a big open wound.
Yeah.
You need to be able to get to the wound, stitch it up properly, and then fix it, and then you don't need to worry about the plasters.
Yeah, sometimes it's not always a wound or like a issue to get to, but if somebody's wanting to, say somebody's thinking about taking investment or wanting to grow or move into new marketplaces, or and so it's kind of like thinking about where to leverage, how to configure their resources for maximum leverage, like how to organise what they've got going on and all the opportunities, and like what little thing could they tweak, what's going to take a little bit of effort but going to have massive results. So finding that is kind of a similar approach.
Yeah, and you also get it that sometimes it's not one thing.
Yeah,
It's just you've got 3, 4, 5, 6 different small things. If
Yeah.
you make small changes to them, can make a big difference.
yeah. So I think that's probably the most exciting moment, is when you can, and it's just really holding up a mirror. It's just like being like, this is what's going on in your business, and look, it's not all chaos, or it's not like endless possibilities. There's just these like 3 or 4 things that if you invest a little bit more effort or focus down on these things, you're going to see massive change.
Right,
And
then when you see that change, that's obviously where you get the self satisfaction.
Yeah,
Because I'd imagine the obviously starting the business wasn't because starting the business is easy, right? Right.
no way a newborn either.
No, definitely no, definitely. So what was your why? So what did you? So what was the? I know you've got the potentially the why of you didn't want to be part of the bureaucracy and all that kind of stuff, but there is a North Star why which keeps you going. What's that?
Yeah, so I suppose it's like being able to do something that's impactful. Like knowing is like the gold is like those wee moments where people are like, oh, that's what I need to do. And so you brought somebody that's stressed out or overwhelmed or like just doesn't have any focus, and you give them like these wee nuggets of like absolute clarity, and they've got total confidence in it because there's all the data and rationale and logic to back up why these are the right things. And somebody just, they feel excited about their business again, and you know they're going to go on to like have more productivity or innovate or like do really exciting stuff. And it's not like I'm doing anything super sophisticated, but it feels like a little bit of magic because it just, the value that it adds, and it's
just a different set of eyes and a different way of thinking when you're looking at something. And that's what we do. I've did it for a long time, but as a business, that's what we do. We just come in and see when you're in the trenches, getting on with it, and you're trying to keep your head above water, and you're trying to do all this kind of stuff. Yeah. You see things through a very, very kind of blinkered view. You just need somebody to come in for a different angle. Looking at it differently with a different type of mindset that can change things so much.
Yeah. The other thing that we do that's maybe a little bit different is that I think recognising that problem that people are busy with that day to day is that we try and do the heavy lifting, so we try and take as much off people as possible. So like rather than waiting for them to chase me for a report or like giving them analysis to do or go and talk to these customers and come back to me, like I do that work for them to try and...
That would make a big difference because most SMEs, everybody's rushing about like nobody's business, and trying to get time to work on the business and on the business is challenging. It always is, and I'm part of all these different networks, and everybody has exactly the same comments. Yeah,
it's that impact that motivates me, and I think it's nice to make money. It's nice to be paid for it, but I'm not, and I think maybe it's like. Maybe my business mindset isn't wired right, but I feel like I don't really want clients long term for years and years and years, and you're dragging out consultancy work, which tends to be like the standard consultancy
100%.
approach. Like, how can we milk this for as long as I just want to go in, do something, do it well, and move on and work with somebody else.
But that's why you always get more customers coming to you. So your repeat customers. So what you end up finding with that kind of philosophy is people move. Right, so that's where you know when you've done a good job. So somebody's sitting in one business, you went in there and helped them to find a specific problem. You might never hear for that company again because you've helped them fix all their issues. Right, but then when they move, they go somewhere else. there'll be similar problems, and if they get you in, so that we get that just now with what we do. I mean, we're trying to get to a stage where we kind of half make ourselves redundant. You get a plant or an operation to the fact where it's actually running without the really need for us to do what we're doing. I doing the remote stuff, but being on site and stuff like that. But that's fine. There's other things and other value you can bring in, and all the people that work for these clients then go to another place and go, right, we need to get these guys in.
Yeah. So I had this little strapline to start with, which I've kind of like, I've taken it down, but now I'm like moving back towards it again, which is democratizing excellent innovation or excellent strategy, which is like helping businesses don't find this stuff accessible. Like they either think it's going to be too expensive or take too long or take up their time, helping them engage with it and see the benefits of it.
And take away a lot of the worry and concern, because that's we see it ourselves, and I've seen it with lots of businesses in the past, especially you get it with like service businesses that are then becoming a product business, right? Because it's a completely different mindset. So people are, I know how to service a client, I know how to do this, I know how to go to a customer, blah, 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 blah. And then you went, right, but now I'm going to productise that and do something. And that sales approach is different. The thought process and how you design it and you manufacture it, build it, whatever you're doing is different. So you've got all these thought processes that are different. And if you've been this shape, so you've been a square all your life, and then what you're then trying to do is now become a circle, that's a hard transition. But it doesn't need to be that difficult, but it seems like you're two worlds apart. And if you can then come in and join those dots a little bit, take away a lot of the what would be classed as noise and what looks more difficult than it probably is, the value must be massive. See, sounds like you've got it.
Well, I'm enjoying it. I'm getting paid for it, and I'm not struggling to like find people that find it valuable or want to get involved in it. So,
but as I say, I need to get you in just to have a chat with and go through what we're doing the strategy wise and see what you think.
That'd
and
be
you
cool.
can try and defankle it. I need to go. Look at that. But the other thing I was going to, something else I was going to say. The value that you're getting at the end of it, that's one thing for me, because I used to see when you're doing change management, so I've been involved in change management for a long time, and what I used to love in change management was I'd be saying to folk, right, I know you might not believe in this, right, but let's have this same conversation in 6 months' time, right? And I used to love that second conversation, because you'd be taking over teams and we've done it last for 30 years, you're saying it's wrong, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not saying anything's wrong. What I'm saying is, let's see if we can try and do it a little bit different. And that was I've had it with guys that have been doing their job for 30 years. And then we'd come back to it in 6 months' time and say, what's your thoughts now? And see that, you would, by that point, if it didn't work, you'd already changed back. Right? So when it got to that kind of 6 month thing and they turned around and say, do you know what? I was wrong. I think it's made a difference. So I used to get that satisfaction out of change management. It's not that you're saying people are wrong, but what you are doing is saying, just give it a go. Let's try and do it a little bit different. And then when you're sitting there and you're having like a quarterly review and they're going, you're saying, are you seeing a positive impact in your business? And if the answer is yes, you're feeling great about it, they're feeling great about it, everybody's happy. And that for me is, I think if it was me that was doing this, would be massively kind of, and it's not that you're getting yourself a pat in the back, but you're getting a bit of self-satisfaction and positivity out of it. You're going, do you know what, I've actually added value to these people. Then yes, you've been paid for it, but it's not about the money, it's about that's the bit. And through speaking to you before, that was what I thought that there was the why you're in it, was to see that difference. Because obviously you've done that in businesses for years, but now you're doing it in your own, and you're helping more people.
I feel like I've got control of the impact I have now, so rather than getting sucked into like line management and performance management and like, do you know these Teams calls where you're sitting on and you're like, what is somebody going to get to the point? I don't have to do that anymore. I can just do the stuff I feel is adding value.
Aye, good.
It's nice.
And what's the kind of forward journey looking like for you? Have you been thinking about what the next 5 years are going to look like?
So I think more focus on the strategy stuff, and then the other thing you've touched on it a little bit as well. I guess it must it feels like it comes up in every conversations, but is AI.
Aye.
So yeah, I'm interested in the idea of being able to use AI to take what's in my head and my approaches and my way of thinking about strategy, especially for technology and engineering businesses, and kind of codify it and make the process more accessible and simple and lighter and just easier for lots of businesses. So that's going on in my mind. And I had like a little experiment with it the other day. So Alexander Dennis, who had that first KTP project with, which is now 10 years ago, we're back in touch because I built these like planning models for them, and they were like, how do we update these models? Like, what do we do with this and that? And I was like, well, I could like charge you loads of money to like tell you about this stuff, or I could build you a little custom GPT. It'll take me 5 minutes. It literally took me 5 minutes. Just like downloaded my thesis for Strathclyde Library, like some academic papers, gave it some instructions, and like sent them a wee link to the GPT. So I was like, if you've got questions, ask the GPT like what the model's capable of doing and how to update it and like how it works, and it'll tell you.
Brilliant.
And come back to me if you get stuck with that. But that's going to get you like a long way there without me having to like sit down and trudge through all this like detail.
Aye, and you can then come in and deal with what we class as the complex, difficult things, rather than the stuff that is hopefully a bit easier to access and get knowledge to.
But that I guess that's exciting that they're still using the models 10 years on for their planning.
Aye, and they're still phoning you.
And they're still phoning me for stuff, yeah.
See, and there you go. There'll be hundreds of consultants out there that went, you beauty, right? I'm going to get 4 months worth of work out of this, going to charge them an absolute fortune, etc., etc. And see, those kind of folk, we wouldn't be sitting where you're sitting right now because we wouldn't be doing this show, right? We don't do those ripping off people, we just do good folk. And what we say actually all the time is it doesn't cost nothing to be a good guy. I'd say good guys, but good guy, good gal, and try to give something back. And you can see that you're trying to do that. And I think from what we've done so far is the interaction we've had, I can see where the clients and why they would come back, because it's more an interest in than a business than a revenue generator.
I mean, the money is nice to get paid as well.
Of course,
not going to lie, Jamie.
Of course, it is. But so listen, just so empty rows. I'm not saying that Abby does it for free, but it is nice to get paid. But if money's your driver, right, it drives you in a different direction. Yeah. And it's having that longer term vision of what you want to try and do and achieve it.
Yeah. I think a big driver, apart from the having impact, is the learning and the chat and stuff. So I need to feel like I'm learning, and like stuff's got to be like the right level of challenging for me. If it's all easy and money's just, I'd be like bored out of my mind. Like I just couldn't. It's got to be like, and I guess like with this stuff, like learning about new businesses, everybody's got a slightly different flavour of the problem, and like or they're like a quirky personality, and you've got to like figure out how to like, do you know, there's always like these wee challenges. And I think when you're working in your own, there's so much to learn, and I can't imagine ever getting bored. Like and the access to various different types of organisations as well. I think 'cause it's not as if you're just going, I'm just going to help marketing companies. Right, you've got all these different companies for different walks of life that you're going to be able to. There's always going to be learning, and especially if people are coming in to you with some sort of innovation, you get to see some real cool stuff. The kind of it's technology and engineering companies, but there's so much bread in that. Like all the like earlier this year working with a photonics company, like I don't understand photonics. Like I didn't really get the details of the tech. I probably, like, if I'd really stuck at it, might have started to understand it, but it was beautiful. Like, but you can still add value to their business because you're helping them articulate what their technology does and the application of it, and have conversations with their customers. But I'm learning about things like photonics, like, or like how different organisational structures work, or different types of business models that, like, I don't think I could ever get bored.
Sounds good. Aye, and that's obviously the Wayne's 3 now, and
3 in January.
I see. That's amazing. That's it. She goes to school. That's you. You can do
Yeah.
double the amount of work.
Yeah.
Because it must have been difficult, obviously, when you've got a young baby, you've got all this new thing in your life, but I bet you're looking back now going, that's the best thing you've ever done.
Oh, I feel like it was definitely the right move. Yeah, and it's got easier as it's gone on. So like, yeah, I guess like when Ada's is tiny, like up through the night and stuff like that, it was rough. Although she's been pretty easy, to be fair. But now she's like, I'm not going to say it's absolutely effortless, but like she's getting more and more independent. So
yeah, good. That's it. At least you went through the terrible 2 stage. You're now at the hopefully calming down, going to nursery stage, and then all that kind of stuff. The joys, right? Well, I said we're only going to be on 45 minutes. We're overtime. I knew.
All right, okay.
It's amazing, isn't it? How fast does that go?
It zooms past.
Aye.
Yeah.
So that's us. 53 minutes.
Wow. Thanks so much for having me, Jamie.
No worries. For your 2 seconds, I need to actually show because I got a prep. Oh, sugar. No, you should see the back of it. So look at this. Berry jelly munchies. So obviously you're the actual last guest before the end of the year, so we're finishing up next week. So next week what we're doing is we're having a Christmas lunch in the office.
Nice.
So everybody's got a Domino's pizza, and then I'm going to put everybody in the hot seat and tell them that they all need to speak. So it's going to be quite fun. So you need to watch next week.
Yeah.
But anyway, anybody else that's coming on to the show, I do take bribes, right? So thank you very much, Abby. They look awesome. Sonny's got his eye on them, and then I've got another wee plant, which is amazing as well. I'm not going to pull down because I wreck it. So thank you very much for my presence.
Thanks for having me. It's like therapy. Like
it's good, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
So it's that's what I said. So we're talking before we come on and my why. And doing this, it's great because you're not really thinking about your day job. You're just having a wee chat, and it's just a wee chat. It's just like a wee friendly chat, sitting here having a blather over a coffee, and hopefully you go away feeling energised.
Yeah, definitely.
Good. Thank you very much for coming on. Anybody that's still watching it, there was a few people watching it live. Anybody that's still watching it, thank you very much for watching it. Elaine, if you're watching it, we love you guys. Right? If you're still watching, and anybody that watches this back, get in touch with Abby because if you've got a business that you're trying to innovate or you're looking at taking a product or whatever to the market, Abby can help you with the sounds of it. All right?
Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you very much. Right, bye everybody.
Bye.